Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus, on Discord.
This is Zach, go by NitroZeus on Discord.
This is CJ, and I'm still currently going by NitroZeus on Discord, I see. So that's what I am right now.
I would change my nickname to also be NitroZeus, but I feel like my role is more to change other people's nicknames to NitroZeus, and so I'm just gonna. You'll come in one day and there'll be 14 NitroZeuses.
We are NitroZeus.
I'm gonna change my name to NitroZeus OG. Oh. That's gonna be my initials is OG.
There you go.
And everyone will know it's really I'm the original NitroZeus.
And no one can argue with you because you can just delete them from the server.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Zach, I do have.
All right.
I will ask real quick because I always wondered: is this the Transformer NitroZeus or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is the Transformer.
Very edge case Transformer. If I had to pick out of all the Transformers, like Brandon, did you know that was a Transformer?
I did, but that's because we did a whole episode of him talking about NitroZeus.
Oh shit! Really?
It's the only reason. Yeah, when he did something, he won like a 3-person scramble or something. So we talked with him, and he was like NitroZeus, and that's like all we wanted to fucking talk about.
Well, of course.
Yeah, he's really cool in like the one movie that he's in. He has some cool shit that he says, and it's cool sounding.
I love Transformers as a kid. I have not watched any live action stuff really. Yeah. Like to my right, I don't know if you can see him. We got I'm a big combiner guy. I love the combiners. So,
in combiners, are you referring to a type of?
Yeah. So the multiple.
It's not like a competing brand known as the combiners. Okay,
no,
I was just making sure.
No, but combiners.
Yeah, no, it's anything that's.
There's like Zoids and shit. I don't know.
They are actually doing Zoids and Transformers crossovers now. So.
Nice.
Just a heads up on that. But yeah, cool. I always wondered. I don't know why I never asked you before. It's funny that you've already done like a whole episode on it, though.
I used to do Pacific Rim names, and then those were even more confusing. Like the Jaegers in Pacific Rim.
Gypsy Danger.
Yeah, Gypsy Danger.
Oh,
Sweet.
Jaegers. Okay.
Striker Eureka.
Crimson Typhoon.
Yeah.
What's the Russian one?
Oh,
I remember it was like Omega something, I want to say.
Omega
I gotta look it up. That's in the second one, I think.
No, it's the first one.
Is it Chernel Alpha?
I think it is Cherno Alpha, yeah.
Because he's the one. He's got the one with the stupid head.
Yeah, he's just like a big bucket head.
Yeah.
Cherno Alpha. Yep.
Yep.
There's also the Tact Ronin, Romeo Blue, Horizon Brave,
I know.
Coyote Tango.
We're looking at the same thing, I think.
And Brawler Yukon. Oh man, the Mark IIs were the Diablo Intercept. I want to pilot.
Why didn't we see those?
Intercept.
I don't remember Mark IIs in any of the movies. Those
all of the options for Pacific Rim 2, and they went with kaiju hybrids. Like fuck that. I want more robots.
Granted, that one is really cool too. That's Obsidian Fury, the hybrid one. I like that they named it, even though it was some random ass one.
Mm-hmm. I think I've said this before, but there's some premises you just can't escape how stupid they are, but you can still do well with the premise you have, right? It's like once you have your premise, you have to do as best you can. You can't just rewrite the whole fucking premise of the movie. But because of that, it's like you need to set your expectation based on the premise. It's like Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's like when somebody said those words to you, if you didn't immediately put a hard ceiling on B-, like a hard ceiling on B-, you're lying to yourself. That's your fault. It's like as soon as you found out Pacific Rim 2, they were gonna have hybrid kaiju and Jaegers. It's like, all right, hard ceiling C+.
Yeah.
But they got pretty close to that C+. Okay. All right. So running through some quick stuff. News. Phoenix came out.
Hooray!
No one cared.
I care.
She's only an X-Men.
Yeah. We'll see. I haven't gotten to actually. I'm still painting her. We'll see how I feel about her on the tabletop. From the online consensus, a lot of people are just kind of like, but she seems like she can.
Yeah, it's one of those things we're gonna have to see it on the tabletop, but I can only imagine it's gonna be really forgettable or unbelievably busted. And I just don't see how it can be anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of... We were talking briefly about this before we went live, that there's 3 6 threats so far this year, and the 3 of them have been all kind of like, But I don't know if that's a bad thing, because the last time they did 6 threat,
The last couple 6
threats. Yeah, anything 6 play, they dangerously warp the meta. So,
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's the exact same game design as Cosmic Ghost Rider. It's like there's no way it will be fair. It'll either be broken or terrible.
yeah, and it's
And as soon as you cross that horizon, it's just like, all right, well, now it's not good enough to carry its own weight.
So, I think this is my own fault. I completely forgot Apocalypse also kind of fits into that. Because Apocalypse, I think, is like...
He's very unique.
Yeah.
He's, like we've talked about, he's in his own thing because of the Horseman and everything, where, like, it's hard to evaluate him blanket as a sixth threat. It's like Thanos like without
Thanos.
stones is a sixth threat. It's
Thanos
like, what do you...
stones.
Yeah.
And I think that the other... So, Gladiator and Phoenix both kind of miss that, like, we are the sixth threat for this faction, right?
Oh my god. It's the ultimate 20-point list. Thanos, Apocalypse, Dormammu.
Love it.
It's just a fucking shit
Sign me up. Sign me up.
I've never considered that before, but it would be terrible. But it could be good. Is it so bad that it's good?
I don't know.
We joked around one team tournament about me having like a splash Dormammu and being like, all right, at 15 threat, I'm going to play Dormammu and Space Thanos, and that's it. And just do dumb shit. Like,
Big bad.
I'm going to pass 4 times, and then...
I don't know if you guys know this story, because you joined after it happened. You're aware of, like, old Alien Ship and how it used to work?
Where there was one, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
And so it's a centerline deploy still. There's 3 tokens. When you interact with one of them, to pick it up, you roll 2 dice. If one of them is a critical, you remove the other 2 tokens and you pick up the one that's there. If neither of the dice are a critical, nothing happens. You don't pick it up. And then that token is worth 2 points every round. And that was the only way, that was the extract points. Which means you could go for multiple rounds and nobody would roll the critical. And there'd be no points scored on extracts. And so so think about just imagine CGR and Lockjaw are standing opposite the middle token. Are you going to walk up and try and find it just to die? And so there'd be a lot of times nobody would even check. Nobody would even look. You would just be playing the 4 blues. And which means it's going to be like 7 turns before somebody gets to 16 points. Because some of them are going to get contested. And it would just be these grindy, fighty games. And that's where we cut our teeth on the game. But so I was playing a game, and it was Extremis Alien Ship, 18 points, and I played Hulkbuster Thanos, unaffiliated.
I was like, hold on, I was looking for a third model there. So that's like
nope,
an max
that was it. Because I didn't have anybody else. I didn't have any other legal models I could have taken. Because it was 10-point Thanos.
Oh, okay.
Because it was Time Stone, Space Stone. And back then they were both 2 points.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that was definitely before.
Yeah. CJ's like, what? Yeah.
Well, have you read Original Time Stone? It's the dumbest fucking
Original
thing.
Time Stone was spend 2 power, gain an action. Yeah, no, so you didn't know that.
What?
Okay.
No!
It's the wildest thing I've ever read.
That was the original Time Stone.
I happened to have one and looked at it, and I was like, good God. Why does this ever exist?
So I played against Perrin. Guess what affiliation he was playing?
This card is previously allowed to perform additional action during the activation.
Oh God, the face you're making.
I'm gonna guess
it's like disgust and comedy at the same time.
Why can't? Oh no! Did the Soulstone used to do something crazy too, or has that always been bad?
Nope, Soulstone's pretty much the same.
If Namor can get
that's the
one
one that's really changed. The other ones all just went through like verbiage
really
changes.
So
Cabal or Webs or something? I don't know. Like that.
You playing Perrin?
It was Webs.
Webs.
Yeah, Perrin was playing Webs with Gwen, Miles, Black Cat. This is original Black Cat.
Yeah.
Toad, and I can't remember his other model. It might have been a Koye. And so yeah, that's what we played, and I won on turn 6, 18-15.
Jeez.
It was the weirdest game I've ever
That's
played. It was so fucking crazy. But like at the end of the game, Perrin was just so frustrated because he was losing against a 2-model list with Web Warriors. But yeah, it was basically just I passed 3 consecutive times, and then Thanos would like double teleport Hulkbuster forward. It was just like, what? And then he would clear the side points by himself because he'd hit and run off of one, move to the other side, and blast the other guy off. And then Thanos would just like hold my back point with the extract.
Nice.
And so I would score 3 points and he would score 1. And it's just like, this is fucking stupid.
God.
Like, it's so bad. And then we ended up basically dogpiling his back point, which is just the way everything went down. And so, yeah, the whole time he's like, I can't try to flip any of these because Thanos will just triple move across the board because he'll Cosmic Portal, then Space Stone, then Time Stone move, and then just kill me because he still has 2 actions left.
That's
And
wild.
it's like, what the fuck is happening? And then Hulkbuster will throw a fucking 12 dice meteor punch at you. It was so crazy.
It sounds like a great game, though.
It was absolutely pants on head crazy. It was hilarious.
Crazy.
Anyway, I just realized that you guys never heard that story.
No,
'cause
that's
it was
fresh.
Okay. I was just pulling up Gladiator real quick now that we were talking about him. I forgot kind of he came out because I haven't built him yet.
We don't have ours built either.
I've played against him once, and it was definitely a good Gladiator game where like he rolled well and just snowballed through my whole team. So it's like I've only had the one experience, and it's definitely like, well, that's what he can do. Like that's what he's built to do. But obviously, when he was close to time coming out, like you talked a lot about, there's a ton of ways Gladiator can have a very bad game too.
Yeah.
And then I was super high on King Black Bolt, and I think I've played him once, and he was fine, but like he didn't necessarily like run the board or anything insane.
So he starts with no tokens?
Yeah,
Starts with no tokens.
no tokens, and he can't charge right off the bat.
Yep. Yeah, I think that the teams playing him are all the like power manipulation turn 1, so that he can immediately charge, so you can try to have 2 or 3 by the time round 1's over, and maybe he's thrown something. But he's very much like he doesn't have his own dice mod, so you have to give him power, and you have to have him either roll well or have re-rolls for him.
This is a guy who could also do well with Professor X.
Yep.
I've played him exactly one time on TTS with Professor X,
Mm.
and it went very poorly. It was against Kingpin, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll just smush your team. And then I did not stagger Ant-Man for 3 turns. Or I did not daze Ant-Man for 3 turns with him. And I was like, okay, cool. Because he would just roll 6 dice, 2 hits.
Yeah.
Very low floor, very high ceiling.
Okay, so moving on to currently playing, I have switched over to the fighty list that we talked about last week. I have not gotten to play it yet, but I'm excited to try and get a game in tomorrow. So,
Yay! I'll look forward to it.
what are you playing? CJ?
I played a little Professor X. I played it with 2 5-threat splashes, Juggernaut and Dracula, just to see if using them with that leadership kind of helps turn them on a bit more. What I found was that Dracula and Juggernaut are both very good. I don't think it matters if they're in Professor X or not.
Yeah. I'd say Juggernaut is more of a Professor X tool than Professor X is for Jugs.
Yeah. I think Juggernaut, after finally getting a really good game of Juggernaut in, man, that guy's no one plays him enough. Like I think that everyone should know this, right?
Can't agree.
You talking
Like,
about that? He's so good.
I brought him against Quentin, and Quentin's like, "Is that a Juggernaut?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So that's already like."
Webs hate Juggernaut.
Oh
Webs
yeah.
can't do shit to Juggernaut.
Well, Webbs can't. Bill the Horseman can, and he brought that as a splash.
Yeah.
But I did walk over, and I was like, smushed him. Did a 9 dice attack with Professor X rerolls. Did like 7 on the first with a reroll, and I was just like, okay, there you go. Take that, Bill. And then Black Cat ran up, and I was just like, smush. It was very nice.
Only one man has earned the nickname Ouija Board Beyblade.
Yeah,
and
it's him.
Jugs.
It's great. It makes me want to play him in. Since the new Brotherhood stuff's coming, I'm kind of looking at that too to play a little bit, but I might just keep sticking him in other areas. I think my new goal is to play a bunch of Juggernaut in the next couple of days because it might be as much fun as I have with Abomination because they're very similar. Like Abomination for me was just tons of fun to play. Yeah, that's what I've been playing. Some Professor X. I might bring that same list again tomorrow. I'm going to wait till I get Phoenix completely painted up before I bring her down. So
I've still been playing Wakanda. Hit my 40th game last night. Also excited for the new Brotherhood stuff, and I've got a Brotherhood Hellfire Club list that I want to try, but obviously they're a couple months away. So my goal is get 50 games of Wakanda,
Um,
and then around then is probably when Brotherhood Hellfire will come out.
Zach, they are.
You say 50 games. You've clearly played more than 50 games of Wakanda, right?
I have, but like in Longshanks, like in tournaments,
Okay,
I've
you
played
want
40.
like registered games.
I want the I'm badge chasing. Why not? I've got 3 months,
so
I think, to get the
do you have to have
last
50
10.
games to get the badge?
Yeah, you have to have 50 games like in a year, and so I'm at 40, and I've got until like the middle of September or something to get 10 more games.
4
to
games
hit
start
50.
falling off.
Yeah.
Zach, did you know they're coming out earlier now?
What?
Yeah, Brotherhood. They moved the release date up to the 18th
Of August?
of July.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Can they make up their minds? Well, that
No,
kind of fucks up my plan.
Listen, we're dealing with many, many, many moving parts. It's a large shipping.
Well, I mean,
conglomerate.
I don't think they actually handle distribution.
No,
It's all Asmodee.
It's all a French company
Yeah.
Nice.
with parts made in.
Well, I
mean,
definitely want a
Asia?
pre-order of those, Brandon. Whenever you can get
Nope.
those in.
Refuse.
yeah,
All
Brandon.
right, that's
Brandon
fair.
doesn't let people pre-order stuff that isn't. Help me out here, Brandon. There's got to be something quippy.
Just me.
Loyal minion.
Just if I pre-order, he says
Yeah.
no.
You gotta spend over $90.
So yeah,
so-
goal is to
You
get
have
to
no-
50 and then do that.
You have no fucking idea how awful pre-orders have been this year. Like, you guys clearly have no idea. It's been a absolute fucking shit show.
No.
Every vendor doesn't know when shit's coming out.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're all over-promising, under-delivering on product allocation. Prices are all over the fucking place. We had to call the police on some guy over the price of Magic cards. Like, he threw such a tantrum that we had to call the police and he
no,
refused to
you-
leave.
I would know. We talked.
I think you
we talked about
mentioned
this
that
last
the other
week.
day, but I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Uh,
Well,
it's absolutely
not
stupid.
crazy. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
I've been within the Magic community. It's like a satellite for a long time. I don't fully ever join it because
Mhm.
I just I hate toxicity, and the Magic community's bad.
So, like, people like to rag on, like, the releases for our mission cards, right? Like the Gladiator box set and everything. How much was that box? Do you guys remember? It was like $60.
Maybe.
I think it was like 40 because I think it was like
Yeah, I don't even remember.
it was a little high for an individual model, but it came with a mission card, so it
Yeah.
wasn't.
But you don't have
So-
to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alternatively, do you know what the mission cards looked like for 40K?
Everything 40K has to be like $100. even if it's a piece
Well,
of
no,
paper.
the price isn't really the problem. So I think it was either $35 or $40 for the deck of cards to play missions with. The problem is the deck uses a draw mechanic. So theoretically, by the intent of the game, the deck is physically required to play 40K. There is
Oh,
no
yeah.
functional format that GW releases without the access to those cards.
Jeez.
So we had pre-ordered 45 decks for our community.
Oh.
Guess how many we got?
15.
20.
12.
Holy shit.
How many?
So 12.
Okay. God.
So guess how well our tournament went a week later.
Oh.
You had 12 people.
It was like, so you sign up for the event. Can I just only let you sign up if you have a deck?
I guess. Like, that's the thing. Is like, I don't know.
It wasn't an
Probably.
us problem. That's a nationwide shortage.
Yeah.
That's actually a worldwide shortage. They printed 1/4 of as many decks as they
They're
needed.
so bad about that too. Like that's so.
They're awful about
That's so
it. And they
common.
did this last year too. The deck was unobtainable from Games Workshop for 11 months almost. It was a silly amount of time.
That's
And so everyone, like, people were making apps that will generate the drawing mechanic because you couldn't physically get the cards from GW. I'm like, you release 11 new models a month. You can't make a deck of cards? Like, what the fuck is
that
happening?
would be
Right.
that
It
would
was
be like
ridiculous.
for an MCP game. That'd be like, hey guys,
Right.
here's Gladiator. He's legal to play in
Yeah.
the game. There's no model for him though. We're not making a model.
That's another GW.
Oh, yeah,
special.
that's why-
Like,
that's
we're
why I
gonna have
mentioned that.
rules for shit that there are
Yeah,
models
like-
for.
all the time.
But it's just so fucking infuriating because you're just like, I just want to play your fucking game, and you literally won't let
Just-
me. And it's like, and then you're like, why would the community do this? Like,
Yeah.
I will kill you.
And then it's like, oh, and then like, God forbid you play like at the store, like at Warhammer store, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't have the deck, and they'll be like, get out, don't use that app here.
yeah, no, you can't use other people's stuff. And so like, I talked to my sales rep, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, do you have any kind of time frame it's gonna be? It was like, well, it will probably be faster than last time, which was like 10 or 11 months. But I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. And I'm like,
God.
Bro,
Now you're talking.
Bro, we have tournaments. We had a 40-person GT at my store. And just like, and you gave us 12 decks. Even if I didn't sell any, I kept them all for
God.
store use only, which would have cost me, by the way, $400. And the community would have been pissed. But like, theoretically, I could have just held on to all of them,
Yeah,
right?
and then use them.
And then use them. I still wouldn't have had enough to run a tournament at my
That's
store
insane.
if I had done that. And so
That's
instead,
ridiculous.
I had to, as the store, go out and find fan-made copies of these cards that use different graphics so they're not copyright, and then print them off for use in store for that I can't sell, that are for in-game, in-store use only. That cost me over $100 out of pocket to print all these cards up and like sleeve them and everything. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, you are idiot people.
Oh yeah, that's why
It's,
I have divested.
yeah.
But yeah.
Those are just two of the things that have happened this year.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention, like, I probably have 10 people a day calling or coming in asking about Pokemon cards.
Oh,
like, I don't even want to get into that.
Dude, I don't want to. So, because I work at a big box retailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The not the blue one,
The red one.
And oh my god, like I'm just gonna leave it at. There's one class of person I hate in this world more than anything else. Not bad drivers.
Pokemon.
It is people who come into the Target and be like, "You guys get Pokemon cards in yet? You guys get Pokemon cards yet? Where's your Pokemon cards at? You guys get Pokemon cards yet?" So now I just lie and be like, "Hey, I haven't seen the Pokemon card vendor in like 6 months. You should probably stop coming in." It's like, dude, it's bad.
You just tell them we're not stocking them anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen
What's
this person.
Pokemon?
Dude, because
I heard there was a physical altercation at a local Walmart over Magic cards and over Pokemon cards. Like, people got into a fist fight in the store because, like, the clerk is like unloading the cart,
Stocking
and they
them.
started fighting for the product as soon as he was loading it on the shelf. It's like, God damn it, guys!
I knew it was bad because I found because I technically collect Pokemon cards, so I know like what if I see something like, oh, that's expensive. I found something that someone misplaced on one of the shelves, like not hiding it or anything. It was like an abandoned or whatever. I put it back on the shelf, and then it was before we opened, and we opened at 7:00. I went on my break at 7:15. It was gone. Somebody had walked into the store that we opened, found it, purchased it, left.
Yeah,
and it's like
so now it's in such a scarcity that people are trying to get it. And it's like treasure hunting.
Oh, yeah.
And so not only is it rare to find it physically available, but they specifically go to big box stores hoping that they're not matching market price.
Yeah.
And that they're selling it at retail because why does the store manager know how much a Pokemon booster pack is going for online this week, let alone last week?
I can tell you right now.
They don't care. So they just put it up for whatever it is. And people are literally trying to door bust Target on a Wednesday to get their fucking cards. And it's crazy.
I mean, I'm not tied to. I was in general merchandise up until recently, so now it's not my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane. That could be honestly that could be a whole. I could do a fucking behind the bastards about scalpers. So
yeah, and so that's why they come into my store, but they know that they're going to have to pay market price
which is completely fair.
The game stores know better.
Yeah. Our local store has instituted for Pokemon cards. They do not let you buy more than one thing, and then if you want to buy another thing, you have to open up the first thing in front of them to get their second piece of your second goodie.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's no flipping.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we live in an insano. Like if you would have told me pre-COVID that this would have been a problem, I would have not believed you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wasn't around for the first Pokemon craze. I don't know because I don't think market price used to really be a thing. It's just stores they might charge up some. Oh no, but not to like what it is now. Like here, now. I have to look this up.
It was I think that it's something about. So, it's also my theory why games on Steam get review bombed. I think. Don't quote me on this, but I think stimulus checks played a factor. I think a lot of people spent it frivolously, and I think a lot of people got a gaming PC, and it was a bad PC. And now they get on Steam, and they're like, this game runs like shit on my computer. Thumbs down.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. I obviously, there's a lot of reasons to review bomb a game.
But there's a lot of like performance issues.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Are you lying about your PC specs? Because like...
I don't know, man. Like, I have what I consider to be a moderate gaming PC.
Yeah, same.
like mine is, and the more I think about it, mine's like actually pretty premium, but it's like premium on a budget, and it's like
mine's like like I'm in like the 90th percentile, right?
Yeah, like if you counted everyone with a computer that has ever played a game on it, I'm probably in the top 1%.
Oh yeah.
But in people that play serious games, like if you're playing Cyberpunk, you have at least my specs, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so it's just different categories that we're talking about. I would never put my PC up in that range because it's really focused more on like graphic video editing and stuff. Because I get stuff that's specifically good at the stuff I work with, and then gaming is a side thing.
It's the difference between like somebody who games and somebody who's a hobbyist, right? Like there's way more powerful things you can put in your PC and stuff. Like my younger brother is a hobbyist. I'd say every time there's a new graphics card that comes out or any other, he's always on the cutting edge of like product coming out.
But he's probably also flipping his old.
Yeah, he does. He sells his old stuff
while it's still competitive. Yeah. And so it's like people are always getting new cars. It's like, yeah, you're technically accruing debt, but like it's not like you went out and bought it fresh.
Yeah, there's a debt cost ratio that usually helps out a bunch.
Zach, I have a question for you. Have you followed Magic pricing at all lately?
I have not. I have not played Magic in a while because
we're going to play Price is Right rules.
Oh shit.
Okay. Do you know what a collector booster is?
Oh, he won't.
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a regular booster pack, right? They used to be like $4 or $5, and it comes with a pack. It's like 15 cards, one rare. Yeah. Okay, so the new packs are a little bit upgraded, but they're also kind of the same. And so the packs are $5.50 is what we sell them for in store. But then there's a collector pack. The collector packs we usually sell for $20 each. It comes with 4 rares per pack, and every card has upgraded art. So it's either alt art, extended art, or foil on every single card.
Okay.
It's basically the vanity pack. It's like if you want a lot of really cool cards, you don't care about basic stuff, you only want the premium, this is what you buy. And you can get a decent monetary return because 4 rares per pack breaks out to about $5 per rare, which is pretty common across the game, is what you're paying. But you're getting way less uncommons, way less bulk, way less chance for rare foils. And so it's technically worse, but it's comparable. So a booster box of these cards is 12. And so just standard logic, we sell a standard collector booster box at about $2.25. That's the box price. You're getting a discount for buying 12 at once. How much do you think the Final Fantasy version of collector box is going for? Without going over, you get one guess.
I have seen tiny bits of this to know that it's absolutely insane. And so I don't want to go too high, but I'm going to say...
Yeah, because you're out. You lose if you go over.
I'm going to say like 540.
Wow. Okay. CJ, would you like to... Do you know?
I know. I can't play. I know exactly. Last time I checked, because as somebody who...
I'm actually curious how recently you've checked.
12 was the last time I checked.
Okay. It has come down slightly. It's at 1075.
Zach, 1075?
So...
No, hold on. This is the best part. Oh, wait, hold on. I need to do this first. So it's 115 times 12. 180 cards. So it's 1075 divided by 180 cards.
Something a card.
Yeah. It's $6 a card.
So is just Magic that way, or is this a Final Fantasy thing?
This is a special thing.
The Lord of the Rings one was kind of that too, I remember. So I didn't know if this was like the Final Fantasy people wanting. Yeah.
All over.
This is still tangentially. It's a gaming thing.
So, again, you know when companies put out these press releases and you're like, they're literally trying to gerrymander their way around what they're actually saying so hard that they're just blatantly lying to you or just being overt about it and hoping people don't like key on what they're actually saying. And so they've been doing this thing for a while called Universes Beyond, where they expand into other IPs. They've had Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, 40K, all this other SpongeBob, Marvel, all this stuff is entering the Magic universe. But they've historically they basically count as modern legal cards. So they're not standard legal. You can't play them in the most modern format, which is the most limited format. And so they released an announcement, I think it was in April, and they said, hey guys, we are announcing our next set of Universes Beyond expansions, which is going to be Final Fantasy and Spider-Man and a couple other things I can't really remember at the moment. I don't play Magic myself, so. He's like, and you might be asking yourself, hey player, or hey Magic Gathering, that's a lot of modern sets to release all at once. He's like, you would be right. That's why we're making them standard legal.
Oh,
it's
God.
like, hold on. Did you realize what you just said is because those were the only modern sets you were releasing, but you're releasing your normal allotment of every 3 months a standard set comes out, and you just merged the timelines on that. And so instead of it being 3 modern sets and 2 standard sets in this period, it's now 5 standard sets in this period. And so in the
standard's
course
also
of,
always only like the last 5 or 7 or something, right?
You would think so.
No, it's timeline. It's chronological based.
Oh, okay.
So standard over the course of 6 months is getting 5 new sets, and half of them are these crazy price tags like this.
Yeah, well, I think that's
And so and it's just like, guys, what are you doing?
that's the downfall of this Final Fantasy set is that it's standard legal. So like right now at like the the Pro Grand Tour and stuff is that people need the Traveling Chocobo, people need Sephiroth, people need Cloud because they're going to be huge parts of these decks.
Yeah.
That's why even like I think because I first up I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, and then second off I like keeping up with Magic because it's like I said I satellite the hobby. But yeah, it's when they announced that Final Fantasy was going to be standard legal, people were like awesome, and then we saw the prices and people were like oh.
And again, all the cards in the set are super push, like they're
Oh.
super powerful card mechanics. And so because of that, if you do play standard, even if you didn't want to spend the money on the set, you're not playing against cards that are 20% stronger than yours.
Yeah.
And conveniently 10 times as expensive. And you're like,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, so it's just very frustrating, obviously, as somebody who's trying to play a game, and all of a sudden, like, what you had probably budgeted for your hobby is now thrown completely out of whack. And I get it. Like the guy who we had called cops on, like, he was mad because the collector boxes were $700 on release weekend. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but like we're selling it $30 or $40 under market price. And like
Right.
we know this is going up. This is not a question. It is 100% going up. The supply will never be higher than it is right now today. And it's been climbing
Right.
constantly for the last week. And sure enough, within 4 days, it climbed to $850. And I was like, dude, buy it and go sell it online for $200 profit right
Yeah,
now.
buy the
It's
card
like,
you
stop
want.
yelling
Yeah.
at me. Like, I'm not the one
Right.
doing this. And sure enough, within a week, it was $1,200. I was like, you could have just made $500 and you're yelling at me. Like, dude, I'm trying to beat you more than halfway here.
Yeah, but to round it back into what we do with MCP, that's why that's one of the reasons I like the game is that like they've been very kind as a gaming company when it comes to how they're running it, like as financially as a hobby. Because like I've never
Yeah.
felt at one point that I was like,
Yeah.
they're trying to price me out of the game because it's like I think they released a statement about. I guess this kind of falls in the news. They did a
Did
statement.
they like apologize that they had to raise
Well,
prices like
Yeah,
$7?
well, our friends Games Workshop has sent like 9 of those emails out since. Like, oop, guys, sorry, plastics get more expensive. We're raising prices again.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time it's happened since we've started playing, and then like,
I mean, this is the first time they've raised prices at all, and it's due to the tariffs, not...
it's
Plastic.
not
Yeah.
it's not Games Workshop being like no one's playing.
No, but Games Workshop has their annual stock price
Yeah.
meeting where they need to pay out their investors,
Yeah.
and that's why...
Oh yeah, and that's why I've been a big. That's why one of the reasons I'm enamored with MCP still, financially.
No, yeah, I don't think the company has any ill will towards its fan base, which is very
No,
nice.
and they've been very generous when it comes to like updates and stuff. They're like, hey, listen, anytime something changes that's in one of the boxes, just print this off and play with it.
Yeah.
They've never been like, is that an official Cyclops update card? We've actually never released one of those, so I don't know how you're going to play that in a tournament. Because, yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an actual buyable item, because sometimes market price isn't very true of the actual pricing.
For Final Fantasy stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's a lot of people that are trying to scam you. Like
Oh.
this one is, oh, hey, this is a box of 6 collector packs. And it's like, that's $700. You're like, yeah. I was like, that's not 12, though. And 12 is supposed to be for $10.75. And you're like, and then this next guy is like, check it out right here. Here's a full sealed booster display. And it's like, oh, but this is Japanese print for $9.50.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like,
you gotta
that's
watch
not what
out
I
for
want.
CCG player, too. That's just,
Yeah, there's a
you gotta
lot
remember,
of-
that actually says eBay at the top left there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually trying to find any. Okay, here's the one guy. The cheapest guy on here is selling it at 1070.
That's insane.
And he only has 2 available.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's some people have it listed at 1400 right now, but obviously those aren't selling. Okay, let's get on to some MCP talk for the listeners. Today we were going to chat about some mission cards. I figured we'd just go down the list in order, unless you guys have a disagreement.
Oh, that's cool with me.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into Alien Ship Crashes Downtown. This is one of the older missions that came through from the previous pack. For people that don't remember, this is the centerline deployment. There's 3 tokens in the cleanup phase. If you have 3 or more power, you roll 3 dice. I believe it's skulls and wilds cause damage to you and everybody within range 2 of you. One of the more volatile missions, I would say. I generally dislike missions that can really, because like this can majorly impact the game if all of a sudden your model gets dazed in a situation where you weren't in danger previously. But at the same time, it's just as likely to screw your opponent, right? It just adds chaos, and I generally try to avoid chaos in my missions.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. This is definitely one where it's like, this is one of those, it does add in a bit of, like, you don't have control over it, really. Like, if your opponent attacks you, then you get the power, and you have to take the damage. Like, that's kind of out of your hands.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, like, it is just absolute chaos. There's no, like, set thing about this besides the power requirement.
Now, you can obviously try to spend your power. Like, having models that can spend power, even when they're just hanging out, is fine. Having models that can heal themselves can make this less bad. In my experience, basically, you want to have this mission when you've got a high volume of models, and you want to avoid it if you've got a small amount of models. And so if you're running like a 3-model list, this is less good, because 1, you can't double up. Each guy can only have 1. And generally, more elite models are going to hold on to more power. There's also less chance for you to be able to run away and hide with it. And so this is like a reasonable expectation that if you have a bunch of models, this would probably be okay. But it's really about, do I expect my models to hold on to power or not?
So I've actually played this one quite a bit. Just because I like the fact that the crisis, like with the Wakanda, I've been playing pretty much attrition. And so even if I have priority, my plan most of the time on this is just to pick up 1. Just because it's center line, I'm wanting to attack them on the center. So if you want to go and commit to picking those up, and then if I deal a little bit of damage to you, then you might daze yourself or deal more damage to yourself. So I've enjoyed this one, but I think it's definitely, there's some nuance to recognizing what happens if you pick this up. Because I think more so than any of the other extracts, this is also one that if I daze someone, I might just leave this on the ground. Like if I daze you and I've got 6 power, it's like the 1 VP might matter, but not killing myself is more important. So I'll just leave it there and then pick it up at the top of the next round or something. So I've enjoyed this one, but I agree that I think this one, the volume of games on it's a lot lower than a lot of the others. I think there's just a lot of lists that don't do well on this or don't want to play this, and so people just don't bring it.
So I think 2 things. First off, I think it's out of popularity right now because of its type. So I think right now a lot of people are leaning into the high-scoring missions. You've got like triple Fs are possible now, a lot of other stuff like that. And then also, if you're trying to run low scoring, the odd-numbered extracts is not generally looked upon favorably, especially when it's 3. 3 is like the worst number of odd-numbered extracts because it is the highest differential between the player in advantage, the player in disadvantage. And if you want to run like a triple scoring, there's better options. And so this mission is not very popular right now. And I agree with what you said, that I think you play it in spite of its ability because you like the layout, you like the point total. You don't necessarily like the mechanic. It's like we want to avoid this ability, but we want the mission itself. And so I think I put it in most of my three lists, but I don't want to play it the most. It's probably the one I want to play the least.
I agree. I think it's the one that gets kicked out the first if you're looking at something else. I think there's other options, especially now that they added inhuman weapons. It's like that's a really good one because it's even and they're all in the middle. So I feel like it's the last one you put in, and it's just because you don't want to play something else, so you really love 17 threat or something. Like, there's a specific reason to have it.
No, I agree with all those points. 17 threat's really good. That's the meta threat right now. A lot of people build for 17. It is center line, which is good for fighty teams. which I like. That's the reason. I typically run like the same 3 extracts because I like playing the same 3 extracts all the time. So I'll run. I think I run alien ships. I run
Legacy.
virus. And can you guess my other one?
Either Inhuman Weapons.
It's
Gamers,
either
or Scrolls.
Montesi or Montesi.
No, not yet.
Hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, no matter what the list is I'm running, it has to. My checklists are you have to be able to run these 3 extracts because typically I need to run the same extracts all the time, so that way I usually play better on these. Like you can probably look at my launch shake stats and see which ones I'm actually good at. And the main issue I usually run into is not running something that I like, and then me being like I don't have a game plan for this. But yeah, alien ship I like it just because it's out of the extracts that exist. Than the ones I take, it's probably the one that I feel the most confident that not only do I hate what's going on, my opponent does as well, which is good for me.
There's something to be said about that because a lot of our like biggest frustrations in extracts late game is that people just run away with them. It's like, well, this makes it harder to do that because a lot of people don't have a way to easily spend power. Let's say even Black Cat, like she can grappling hook, but outside of that, she can't spend any.
Yeah.
So unless she had less than 5 power, which late game is less likely, especially if she's been attacked. So how are you supposed to get rid of it? You really can't. You could theoretically take 3 damage, and while it's unlikely, it's certainly not impossible. Yeah. Like you're talking about a 1/4 chance per die. It's like you could easily roll 2, maybe even 3 damage, and so it adds the level of uncertainty, especially if you're already injured. Like, oh, you only have 2 hit points left. It's like
you can't run away.
Man, there's like a 1 in 3 chance I just die this turn.
Yeah,
and then
that's what I mean. Like I just won't
what?
pick them up. I'll just leave them there. Like I don't want to daze myself and it'd be bad.
Yeah,
going
well, and that's the thing too is that like a good player plays it differently than somebody who's just like, well, it's alien ships. Let's roll them dice, right?
Yeah. So I like the fact that it deters running away. Well, not really deters it. It just adds the uncertainty of it because the problem with running away is that it's scripted at that point. It's like, all right, I'm removing myself from combat. There's no longer interaction. It's like, well, now there's still the mission might fuck you. Like, at least I have that back.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't just pile up all the tokens on one person and run away is also nice. Have you guys ever used the mission ability as a weapon?
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, you have, like, Lizard, and you're just like, I double move to stand next to 3 of your people. And you're just like, come on, Yahtzee. Yeah. And you just, like, blow up their team. Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah. Specifically, I believe I've done it with Spider Foes and Lizard. Because that's a great, like, I love, like, I still play the game in a way that I do stupid stuff like that sometimes where I'm like,
yeah,
you didn't see this coming, did you? You didn't see me suiciding, but, like, come on, Lizard.
You know who else is good at this? Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
Like, I'm going to take 0. You're going to take a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's great because, like, I bump into you. All right, end of turn, you both take 2. And you're like, what the fuck? Like,
chef's kiss. And
it's like, all right, I'll go first. I bump into you. Like, god damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, are we doing, like, a letter grade on these, or... thumbs up,
I
thumbs
don't know
down?
that we need a letter grade because it's really situational, right? If we tell them alien ships an A and they put it in their web warrior list, then they're an idiot, right? So,
but like, so I would say that it would be, there's no like A or B, but I'd say this is.
So let's compare it to missions of its similarities. Then I guess we can do that. Well, first off, let me get some numbers out of the way. So it has been played in 2,269 games. And it has a play rate of 6% among players, according to the Longshank stats. Take that for what you will. That's without context. That's worthless. The 6% is kind of important.
Yeah,
but
6% is kind of
the number of games is the number of games is pretty irrelevant.
Yeah.
Now, because now we have 22 or 24 missions total, and everyone's playing 6.
We have an even number.
We got 12.
Okay, then it must be 24.
6, 8, 10, 12.
Yeah, there's 12 of each.
Yeah, so 24 missions. It's played in 6%, but it's really 3 out of 12. So 6% is well below the average.
Yeah.
It might even, is it the lowest? I'm on a different page now. I assume
that's
is the lowest.
I would bet it's probably, if it's not the lowest, then
I'll check.
So I'm looking, I filtered it for just 2025 to include some of the newer ones, and the only one lower than it is Terrigen Canisters.
Okay.
Terrigen Canisters is lower?
Well, because scoring teams don't like it either. Like, we'll get to that. But it's like, nobody, that's another one where it's like, there's a bunch of points. No one's happy about it.
Unless you're
No one's happy.
The web
Why?
warriors.
Why would the community do this?
Yeah. Why would you guys do this to yourselves? That's crazy.
Okay, so compared to other 3 victory point missions, which is Montesi and Legacy Virus, I think we all agreed that this is it's clearly worse than Legacy Virus, right?
I've got some spicy takes about Legacy Virus.
So I think, again,
is
like we said, it depends on the context of it. Like Legacy Virus, you can stack them and run away and score a bunch at once. So, like, if you're the attrition team, that could be bad.
Well, or you...
But then, like, Montesi is, well, if they grab the middle one and run away, then you're just chasing the whole game. I feel like it's the most, for an attrition team, it's the one you would want the most of those 3, in my opinion.
You think Alien Ship is?
I think so, just because you can stack Legacy Viruses and score them quick. But
for the 3 extract ones, I think it's probably the one you're going to screw yourself the lowest on. Like, there's the chance of you be like
it's
messing
the one
up
that's
this.
the least bad for you.
Yeah, and it's and like playing.
I disagree strongly. I think it's the worst. Now I don't want to get too much into the other 2 because we're going to talk about them later. I do like that you can't stack them. That's nice for me. It makes it to where I can focus on who I need to kill based on, like, if you have a steal but you already have one, once Black Cat steals one, it's like I can ignore you for the rest of time and kill everyone else. But I feel like on Legacy Virus specifically, though, it gives me a way back into scenario as an attrition player. That I didn't have on this mission or even Montesi. There is no catch-up mechanic in the other missions.
Yeah.
And in my experience, if I'm playing a fighty team and my opponent is not, and they're playing a high-score team, I am more worried about them slowly killing me by 1,000 cuts than I am about them coming and taking my stuff. Because if you're using an extract stealer, you're not assembling it. Because I'm not going to let your Black Cat have 2 tokens and steal 1. I'm just not going to allow that to physically happen. And I know I can play well enough to make sure that doesn't happen. But if I'm killing your people, now I have a lot more opportunity to start stacking them. And so I'm not too worried about that interaction. On Montesi, there's a lot of arguments to be said about odd-numbered extracts, specifically once in a line. But I will just say real quick, I know we've talked about before, I like to know that my opponent cannot get 3. And so if I know that you cannot get 3, and my plan was not to get to 16, I now know that you're capped at 2 a turn. As long as I don't play like an idiot, I don't have to worry about it. And so that is a lot of weight off my shoulders, because if we just had flipped Spider Infected, like in the mission selection process, I do not want to play that mission at all. It's like I have no way to control the game. Things will just go sideways at times, and you could easily end up with 4 tokens. And now the game is ending much faster, and I don't have to worry about that. And so the fact that I know you can only score 2 points on extracts if I play right for the rest of the game, I am very happy. And I'll just play the blues, and we'll just I'll just give you 1 point over me on extracts for the rest of the game, and I'll just win on the blues. And I'd much rather play that game than any other game with Alien Ship potentially killing my own people. That being said, they're all in the same category. Like, I think we all agree.
Oh, yeah, and it's not like...
But I would much rather play Montesi than Alien Ship.
Fair. And I think, they're not like, it's not like, oh, hey, Alien Ship's, 100 points lower than Montesi. It's like, it's ranked choice voting, basically, right?
It's also just like the chance of them not even necessarily doing a turn 1 steal, but it's like, okay, well, I went to the middle, I picked up a thing. There's a lot of ways you can get this from me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still stuck right here. It's like, if I'm just in a spot where I have to make a decision on the top of turn 2 to do something else, like maybe I'm going for your guy who's going to run away, and then you just walk up and steal mine. I'm like, all right, well, now I'm back to 0 of 3. Like, I don't have to worry about that on Montesi. I have positional advantage that I can press.
Yeah.
Like,
that's fair. I feel like we should group these
mission
into the 3s. Like, do the 3 rather than going like down the list.
Yeah, we can do that.
Legacy Virus is next, and then we can just like skip to Montesi and just be like, these are the 3.
Yeah, we can do
fine.
that.
I like that. I'll go. I mean, if we want to do Dead Legacy Virus next, like I said, I had a spicy.
I figured we just do 1 a week.
Oh,
you want to go faster?
Oh. I figured that if we wanted to do 1 a week, that's cool with me. That means we could dive into more about alien ships, like who. Like we said, lizards.
Yeah, and that way it's not the entire episode.
Yeah, that's fine. And then we can talk about like
one of each.
Well, like
one extract, one secure.
Stuff you like with it, with like certain characters and stuff. I don't think Alien Ships really has any like all stars.
No, I mean
I think Jugs is pretty cool
Yeah.
because not only can he survive, but he can also intentionally dogpile on top of people.
Yeah.
He's got the biggest base in the game, so he can put the largest AoE into your opponent's team.
Mhm.
He can survive while standing there. And so I think he's actually really amazing on this mission.
I think that
He
the
can
ones who
also-
can pay to zero, like him, Kingpin,
Yeah.
uh,
There's
Bill.
also several leaderships that can allow him to turn one grab and get away.
yeah,
It's not just get there. He can get up, pick it up, and leave.
Yeah.
And so he's a safe grabber. He can choose to not take damage on this. And he can dive bomb people with the secondary effect. Like,
he also is,
I don't know of anyone
way-
who's better at this mission.
like we
than
talked
him.
about, he's also one of the best at dumping power. Of it's like,
Yes.
oh, I'll just use nothing stops 3 times. Now I have 1 power. Now I won't blow up.
Mhm.
And so whether you want him to blow up or to not blow up, like you have way more control over that than like maybe any other model.
But like
on
you
this
just
mission.
said, you want him to explode. Unless he's like in the middle of your team, you
Yeah.
want him to go off. Because
Right.
if instead of dumping 3 power, I'll just use the 3 power to take no damage. And then damage to your idiots. And like, oh, it's so great.
I definitely think a lot of the wider teams that have 5 health models really don't like this because they're like webs. I think like their health is at such a premium to them, and without a way to reduce it,
It's more valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, Juggernaut also having 8/8 is like even if he does take 1, like so.
Mhm.
Yeah, a drop in the bucket.
Is there anyone else you can think that synergizes with this mission well?
I think that you win priority and you've got Nick Fury or Shadowlands Daredevil on Elektra. I think that you kind of starting off on the right foot here with this mission too. You're probably playing some sort of
Yeah, the grunts can explode, so that's good.
Yeah. They can't explode it. You're already kind of starting off stealing. I mean, you're going to have 2 of them anyways if you have priority, but even if you don't have priority with these guys, you can still grab 2 of them, which is actually a really, really nice play to come into this. Because, like, your opponent goes first, they have to steal 1. Well, now, if your opponent doesn't have a great character starting off, like you have the ninjas and Matt run up, grab the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this heavily incentivizes, if you're bringing alien ships, you at least want to kind of look at maybe splashing in one of those 2 guys, since
one of the extract grabbing grunts.
Yeah.
Another thing that you at least need to put some mental reps into is Sinister Traps.
Oh yeah,
Sinister Traps as the player going first is really strong because they're obviously going to get to pick up whichever one they want, and then they can trap whichever one you put your safe grabber in front of. And so that forces you to go pick up the other point with a non-safe grabber, or they end up with 2-0. And then the only way to circumvent that is basically have a grunt character of your own, or an enemy Colossus, enemy Mordo, a couple other models can do it. But it's a very short list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Question real quick. Didn't Heimdall used to let you reroll on interacts? Did they get rid of that?
They shouldn't have.
I think he's still.
I'm reading it right now. It says attacking, defending, dodging.
But I thought he still has a
think
long
they
second sentence
changed
of then it was like, and then crisis cards or.
Yeah, alternative.
Oh yeah. The second part
It's
is
phrased
crisis
very
card.
weird. Yeah.
So that means Heimdall can let you reroll the alien ship trigger,
Interesting.
either positively or negatively.
Or negative. Yeah.
It's range 4.
That is interesting.
That's cute. That's very cute. Because it doesn't say while interacting with a crisis card. It says rolls dice for a crisis card.
That might be. I've always wanted to take a look at Heimdall, not specifically for alien ships, but just in general, because I feel like he might. I don't know. He feels like one of those like just wet bags. It's just kind of like you look at him, you're like, oh,
I think
he does
Heimdall-
interesting stuff, but then it's like, does he do anything?
He's like
the
a
game?
truly unique kit, though.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can do what he does. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that he has a good spender, he has a allied place, he has allied rerolls at range, he can you reroll Tactus card dice. Like, he's clearly in like league of his own for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like his stat line has to be mediocre because of all
Yeah,
that.
because if
It can't be any
if
better.
you gave him like better defenses, if you gave him like if his attacks did anything else,
If he had a ranged
Like, could you
attack,
imagine if
like
he
a
was-
ranged gainer or something?
yeah,
I think he's just bad in Asgard because none of the leaderships have anything to do with what he wants to do. And so, and people play him, but in Asgard, you don't have enough models to have fodder, so he has to join the fight, and he's not a good fighter.
Well, that's the
and so you just see him do badly in Asgard.
Yeah.
But then you see him in like Avengers, and he's amazing.
Yeah, because it's and Josh complains about him being priced to be fair, and it's like, well,
God forbid your models are fair.
Well, if his reroll is a power like it is under Steve 1, like you're gonna be like, oh yeah, well now I only take Heimdall because Heimdall will.
Mm-hmm.
I could not imagine Heimdall standing in the back and being like, okay, Mighty Thor charges, shield, attack once, get 2 rerolls, attack a second time, get 2 rerolls. Yeah. Okay.
Well, you get to wait and see when you need.
Oh yeah,
rerolls.
just whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, including if she's doing a pay to flip.
Yeah, ridiculous. He might be one I try out in the good professor as well.
I was thinking about that. I think it's too much support because he doesn't really pull his own weight on fighting.
Yeah, well, and I already got Professor X just kind of been like, please don't breathe on me, I'll die.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I also think on Alien Ship there's a couple like models and leaderships where you can siphon off power, like Inhumans where you can like blow up on purpose or siphon power off, like Red Skull 3 that can spend their power. Like if there's some other interactions where if you want this to happen, you can, or if you really don't want it to, but like that's more work probably than it's worth.
Think about it though, as if you're activating is the problem. Almost always you get to 3 power after your activation's over, and then you can't do anything.
Right.
So like Inhumans, you could move like 1 or 2 power maybe if you got that many people in range, but you also want to use the leadership where you need it, as opposed to just taking power off this model, and then you're giving it to another model that has an alien ship token. Like it context would matter, but it could help. Yeah, because if you think about it for somebody like Red Skull, it's like, well, you're already attacking, just use your spender. Like that, because if you're using your builder and you spend the power, you're refunding the power because it's a fucking builder. So you actually might end up with more power than you started with.
Yeah. Oh, I meant like if you have someone else holding it, then with too much power, then Red Skull spends their power so they don't blow up.
Oh, Red Skull sends other people's power?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I could see that.
The problem is, though, he doesn't really use, like, it's a cool mechanic, but he doesn't really do anything cool with the power.
Oh, he can.
Oh, the throw, the place, the spender. Red Skull 3.
Yeah, he has a crazy kit. It's just really expensive, so you don't see people do it a lot. So, first off, he has Scalpel, which is dumb. It's like one of the most broken superpowers in the entire game. So he can spend 4 to place anyone within 2 of him within 3.
Only once per turn.
Yeah, but
each person can be placed
No,
his is actually only once.
Red Skull's
Strange Supreme.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, Strange can just be like,
but like that's awesome.
Strange can be like move, attack, move.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because like, okay, cool. So he can only realistically spend 7 power.
Easily, he can spend. 7.
Oh yeah.
No, so the issue is that he has to take it in the right amounts. But yeah, you could just this person has 3 power and I don't want them to. It's like, I'm just going to Scalpel using 3 of their power. It's super easy. And then I land and I'm like, oh, I'm going to pull 3 power off the other guy to throw something at this dude. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, he can spend a lot of power.
Yeah. MODOK of the Scientist Supreme variety can also pull power off of people.
Yep. Yeah, spend their power for rerolls.
Again, I don't think pulling the power off is the problem.
Yeah, it's more of just like finding interesting stuff.
It's more about, I think it's more about putting it on, like, this is an extract, maybe more so than some of the others, where it's like, don't put it on a fragile character that has 2 health left. It's going to blow themselves up, unless you have to score right now.
It obviously matters situationally, but I think a lot of the time, you reducing all of your characters to only have 2 power is enough of a negative to you that I don't care if you're not rolling. Like, you talk about 1 or 2 people, and you're like, "Oh, well, I made sure they didn't have any power." It's like, yeah, but it's like Namor; he needs power. Like you can't just go throwing it away. And so it kind of depends. But if it's just sitting on like Okoye in the back, you're like, sure, if she could get rid of her power, so she doesn't randomly die. But then, like, you want her to have power still because like the whole point of her is either as a bodyguard or she's just holding the point. Like the odds of her dying to it without ever being attacked are pretty low.
Yeah.
Is this Toad's least favorite extract?
It's probably one of them, especially now with I think
no.
his 4/4. He might like this less healthy, but I know Brandon, you're probably thinking like, well, he can hop, so like he can burn a little bit of power.
Yeah,
like
I never have a problem with
if Toad has
having
a
too
bunch
much
of power, it's probably because he's dead. Like his threshold is so small, where it's like, well, if you have 5 power, you died, so it doesn't matter.
Just because I know he's more of the not wanting to be in the mix, and running away, and then like if he gets popped once,
he's blowing himself up probably, or he's something like that.
Yeah, like Slippery even can get you under a lot.
Yeah,
because let's say you run up, you pick up, they hit you for 3, you Slippery, you have 1 power. Like, yeah, I don't think he really cares.
Okay.
He might actually like it more than any other 2-pointer.
I could
more than the other 2s.
Because Rocket might literally just die randomly.
Yeah, Rocket has 1 good attack. Whoops. Sorry, Rocket. Trying to see if there's anyone else who I think would be kind of silly with it. I do know that you'd be kind of silly for bringing this, and is it McCran and Infinity now that both give you extra power?
Yeah, you would not want to be too close to those if you're wanting to avoid blowing up.
Yeah. So maybe look out for that when you're building your crisis cards, because
yeah, Imkron gives you 1 more.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be something that you'd want to avoid. Even though I think Imkron and Infinity are both really good fighty secures, because if you got characters that get power into damage, that's not something you want to bring with Alien Ship. You could burn the power off easily, but if you get stuck with it at some point. And you know, and it comes down to mattering. You're going to remember when that burns you. So, trying to think of anyone else. Well, I think we've pretty much covered interesting things you can do with this. You could have, it's still Rhino stealable. Rhino likes this.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why your conversation about like people that convert power to damage result in like you can spend more power, but if you get stuck with it, I don't know why it just made me think of another fun story. One of my proudest achievements in the history of MCP is I ended a game that I won against Perrin. It's always Perrin. I don't know why.
Poor Perrin.
So I won. We ended the game. Logan, the Wolverine, was alive and never once made an attack.
Who's Logan, the Wolverine?
Logan.
No.
Yeah,
His.
He was playing X-Men.
What game state did you
No,
force?
sorry. He was playing Red Skull 3, actually. So he's playing Red Skull 3. And his Logan never attacked.
What kind of fucked up game state?
It was very weird.
That he was like,
it was actually,
I need to have.
It actually wasn't that weird. It was just like he never prioritized Logan because like, he'll get something done eventually. And once I got like the first control effect on him, it just spiraled into like he was always staggered. He always got thrown away. I hit every wild trigger on him, and it was just like he kept getting staggered and thrown away. So even after he was like, I'm not in range 3, so he's like, I walk medium, and it's like, cool. Next turn, I have prio. It's like stagger, throw him away.
Get out of here.
And it's literally like 5-turn game. He never attacked. And he's like, he ended the game with like 6 power on him, just hanging out. He didn't die. He just stood there
menacingly.
It was very funny.
He's just standing there menacingly.
He's just hanging out. It's like you look at it, it's like, how is this guy not killed your entire team? He's like, turns out he doesn't have hands.
Yeah. Well, it's like that you're from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and that he's running towards the castle, just infinitely. Oh, yeah. not to turn the conversation back onto Juggernaut though,
because he's the best.
It's I'm trying to. The other thing I was thinking about too is other characters that people have glossed over, like Juggernaut, because I think like there's a couple other characters that kind of fit, not necessarily fit his role, because I think Juggernaut still is super unique in what he does. But like other like just kind of older 5 threats or some older characters that people don't really look at anymore that can actually still accomplish a whole lot. I still don't think the true like depths of what can happen with this crisis setup has been explored yet, which is crazy to think about. Like, I don't think it's been solved yet. Because, like, how is not everyone running Juggernaut on Deadline?
I don't know how everyone isn't. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people aren't running Deadline. Like, I don't think Deadline is the secure or anything. It is, I think, a mission that gets played.
Yeah.
But I don't know how people aren't playing Juggernaut in general, because he's insane on Deadline. But I think he's good on
Everything.
every single mission that's out.
Like he was the poster child of abusing senators. He was he loves like Macron, great. Like it's kind of crazy. I gotta look and see if there's anyone else who's just like, because I think he truly is like the theme of this month for me is Juggernaut's a sleeper hit. Find out who else is.
Okay, so let's just talk real quick about Jugs. What kind of list wants Juggernaut, as opposed to like how do I get him in? What list best needs him? Because what I think of when I'm thinking of this list is like some kind of elite scenario team.
Yeah, I agree.
That isn't like, necessarily extract stealing based. Like it's not go wide based. It's just like I want to have a lot of models that are elite at scoring.
Elite at scoring.
It's like Hulkbuster, it was like comes to mind. I don't think he would fit in the list.
No,
but just something along those lines. Like Hulkbuster is an elite scenario piece.
Yeah. I think any list that's wanting to use Juggernaut to its maximum effect has to have two things going on for it. It has to have some way of feeding Juggernaut power, because he's actually bad at that. And
he gets his fair amount of power.
He gets what he needs. He doesn't have like, but like the more power he gets, the more effective you kind of see him. Because like
he can get slightly better.
Yeah, because he's wanting to basically always be using like the 3 he gets a turn for nothing stops the Juggernaut. He's never saving up power for like the spender.
What I find is that if you end up getting more power, you end up doing things that are fun and interesting and good, but not necessary.
Yeah.
And so you'll end up like, oh, well, you slid 2 times that turn that you didn't really need to because you had power to burn. And so you end up just fueling the machine, which is Juggernaut, which you didn't really need to do. You could have spent that power somewhere else. But
yeah,
I agree with you. He does want more power.
I think you made a good point of like, I don't think there's a crisis he doesn't like. So I think definitely like an elite scenario team is like, no matter what you're running into, he's going to do something useful for you that maybe no other model can. Like his flexibility. Like when I was playing Brotherhood a lot, I would catch a lot of people off guard when I'd get pulled into Fisk, because it's like, oh well, he's stun immune, so he doesn't care, and he'll just move twice and use Do You Know Who I Am and throw that person way the hell away, and now he just scored 2 points, and it costs almost nothing. So yeah, I feel like he's the teams that really want to score in scenario, unless they want to go super wide. Like if you're I don't know, like Webb's obviously always want to go super wide. Kingpin for the most part probably does, but I think some of the other lists that are like scoring focused but not necessarily ultra wide, all of them would love Juggernaut and what he can bring.
Yeah, so basically I think any list that has a scenario, like a blue scenario game plan, and just needs like I wouldn't even say like an all-rounder, because Juggernaut does a little bit more than that. If you need another really strong scenario piece to kind of shake stuff up and make stuff happen on the battlefield, I think you could use Juggernaut. I just remembered what Red Skull Master of Hydra's leadership is. That might be interesting to look at too.
It's another way to help him. Well, it's another way to help him steal or like safe grab on turn 1.
Yeah,
but you have to be on like very specifically.
And so that means if you're doing an actual middle, then it has to be either Montesi or a D.
Yeah.
And I don't even think you run Ds because you want to play World Dom generally, but you don't have to.
Yeah, he would be a piece of if you needed him if you wanted to have him as the option of a safe grab, and you're also playing Extremis, and he's going to grab one of the inhuman weapons or something. Like it's a.
There's some edge cases. Like I said,
like he's great on pay to flips. He's great on Macron, that he can flip all of them. He's great on Guardian Save, that he can flip all of them. He's going to Mutant Madman because he's got 4s, so it's like he can just run back and forth on one side and just flip both every round. Like I really think if you're playing a scenario list that's not an ultra wide, like he can do whatever you need him to do.
I think you could even take. Well, that's the thing too. I think you take him. I wouldn't hate seeing him under Sam Cap, because like the rest of the team is gonna be the ones getting hit. You're not gonna like if you see a bunch of wide guys. Juggernaut's gonna be like the guy you don't attack in that list. Well, if you daze someone else, Juggernaut gets to remove a special condition.
Yeah, but he doesn't really need movement. He can basically get wherever he needs.
True.
And so it'd be mostly the healing.
Yeah, the healing would be kind of crazy.
But again, if they're not attacking him, then it doesn't really matter.
If he's taking,
I'm not against like one 5-pointer in a Sam list. I think works really well. I generally go Ghost Rider because he already gets benefits for other people being attacked.
yeah, but I
Sure.
think Jugs might be the stronger scenario piece too. If you, like I said, if you, need,
I would agree
yeah.
with that, but I think Sam lists aren't generally playing scenario. I think they're playing attrition, but it's a slow attrition.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm looking at just like find me, four-ish point models that are really good at scenario, but also like aren't dead weight themselves. And so like I'm looking at like Venom, Spider Woman, maybe Apex, Rhino, Namor, kind of things in this vein.
Spider Woman was definitely the one that would jump out to me of that too. Of like,
I agree. Spider Woman,
kind of whatever
like
you're trying to do, she's gonna do that. She's gonna do a good job of it.
Yeah, she's really fallen out of favor for some reason. I don't know why.
I think
she
was just deemed. She was just deemed as excessive because ever since they got rid of, was it no matter the cost, she has to pay for her attack.
Oh.
And she can't just like take 2 damage to do it really early.
True.
And then at that point, she's just 4-point Miles because Miles can do the exact same thing.
I could be wrong here too, but I feel like some of the all rounders like these two have fallen out because it's just every model needs to be doing something very specifically, and I just don't think people are quite running as many all rounders where it's like I just want to take something that's good at whatever it is. Like, no, I'm going to take Logan. I'm going to take someone who's like very, very good at one thing because that's the one thing I'm trying to do. And there's not as many models of like, I'm going to take a bunch of people who are good at everything.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to get kind of a baseline of what we were thinking about so I could think about it before next week.
Yeah. The other list I don't hate him in because they don't have a natural 5 threat would be Spider Foes. I think under Doc Ock, he kind of has a
shedding.
place.
Shedding the condition would be nice.
Incinerate and Shock he cares a lot about. Slow, not a big deal, but
So I would argue he cares almost the least about Shock because he's only making 1 attack on most rounds. So it's literally 1 attack die difference on the whole round.
Yeah, true.
He's already rolling a pretty big pool, which means like you get diminishing returns on the dice a little bit, where it's like it's not as impactful the higher you get. So like 8 dice going to 7 isn't ideal, but I don't think it really changes the math that much. Slow is literally irrelevant.
Yeah. He moves
and then what was the other one?
Incinerate. Incinerate's nice. Yeah.
Incinerate's relevant because if they're gonna try and kill him, he's gonna get attacked a lot. So that's a lot of potential dice.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's tough because he's like there's not a lot of leaderships that really turn on his kit very well. Besides just anything that helps him out with power.
Yeah, that's kind of the best part about him is he doesn't really need help. He's kind of a complete-ish model. As a tank, he's pretty much as complete as you're going to get. He can hit hard. He's got a good tactics card. He's going to survive. He's really mobile. Like, he's pretty much everything you want.
Yeah, and on his flip side, too, he does turn on...
He gets a throw.
Yeah. Gets a pretty relevant throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because by the time he's dazed, he absolutely has the power for that. And so dazing him and then him getting to immediately flip over and have power to now throw a size 3 can definitely have a huge impact on some games.
Yeah, and if you hold on to Do You Know Who I Am, you can just be like,
double throw.
Pretty crazy. Now here's the other thing. Do you think that they could print another character like Juggernaut ever again? Or is he going to be always just by himself in his category?
I mean, they've already printed characters very similar to him.
Close.
You've got Wrecking Crew, you've got Rhino.
So, Rhino, I think, is the closest comparison because they have the most overlap over their kit. The only thing the Wrecking Crew kind of shares is just Bring It Down, or
the slide.
I think that's whatever it's called. Yeah, because like the Wrecking Crew, not tanky. Like I mean, they're insanely tanky. Never attack the Wrecking Crew, because I like bringing them. Yeah. I would also put Nova similar to Juggernaut because Nova usually is making one big attack.
Yeah,
and moving.
But it's different because he's meant to kill people.
Yeah, Nova's like the offensive version of Juggernaut. So I guess they've played around in that design space, right? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of not really another, which is good. I think that I like having this kind of. it's a theme, I guess, or a class of character that they've made, and then they've kind of got these other deviations out. I think Juggernaut's role in the game is probably one of the more interesting ones, and other characters that do similar things. I also really like I like Nova's kit, I like the Wrecking Crew's kit, I like Rhino's kit. I think that's really cool. I want to see more of these guys kind of show up, because I think they're fun to play as, or play with. And that's one of the only ones I can kind of think of that has like a defined like role. There's other characters that do like other stuff. Like I think Psylocke is like the assassin class. There's not. I can't think of it. Like maybe that's something we can talk about another day too. Is just trying to figure out what everyone like looking at like what the most effective like class designs they've done for the or like character themes they've done for the game.
Yeah,
it's very interesting to kind of just think about and then like see characters in a new light that way.
I think another model that doesn't get the respect that she deserves is Cassandra Nova.
Man.
Which everyone probably immediately said, what the fuck are you talking about? But have you guys looked at her card
it's
lately?
insane.
I've played against her a
crazy.
couple times, and like I feel like I've had games against her where she just dunks on me and it's awful. And then there's other times where it's like, well, she doesn't have enough power maybe to do the thing, so I had to get to go in and just wail on her. And then
yeah, she's kind of like MODOK, where she kind of needs a little bit of building to go first. But at the same time, she's got one of the better builders in the game. Range 4, 5 dice, Mystic, with Sap Power. Like, that's a very solid builder. Her first spender is crazy. Auto advance the target its speed. The fact that it's its speed, too, is like, oh yeah, your speed long, and you're just like,
goodbye.
Go away. And it costs 1 6 dice, range 3. It's so good. Then the Flesh Manipulator is weird. Has Explosive Force, one of the few attacks that has that. I think you pretty much never use this. Even when you're like, I need to kill you, like, I don't know that you even use that. It's very weird.
Yeah.
She should not be your source of killing people.
The fact that you can also, like, I'm going to advance you your speed, so you go to, like, at max range 3, and then you're like, oh, and by the way, I'm going to root and slow you, because she has fucking Firewall on her card for some reason. It's like, nobody remembers that. It's like, oh my god, root and slow is so annoying.
Shit, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I thought that was exclusively a
She got tricks and traps.
She's got tricks and traps. And then she also has the spend 2 to ignore a collision that Ebony Maw has.
Yeah.
And then
healing factor. And
stealth.
Yeah, she has... She has non-keyworded stealth.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's still some rules that ignore stealth, like Daredevil and
yes.
20. I think.
More importantly, there's definitely no fucking rule that ignores telepathic cloak.
Yeah.
Like, there's not any of those.
This may be a different conversation. I think that was one of the things that surprised me the most with some of their like cleanup on wording and timing and stuff, and making stealth a keyword is I don't know how her and Storm dodged that bullet. That theirs didn't just get changed to stealth.
It's 100% X-Men privilege.
Because I think it's 2099 that's about to come out. Like, there's a model about to come out that just always ignores stealth. And so it just is weird to me to just leave just these. Or like, they change Nightcrawlers, and it's like, oh, well, now he gets stealth instead of not stealth. And so it just was strange to me that those two avoided that.
It's a theme relic, right? Because like Storm's not hidden. You can't hit her because the storm, like the wind's blowing so hard. It's the same thing with her, with Cassandra Nova. The theme is she makes you not see her with her mind or whatever. It's just old theming relics. Because you could easily, I don't know if it matters actually if they have stealth or not.
It's people wanting their thing to do something cool.
Yeah.
And so it's just the devs breaking the rules of design because they want their guy to be cool. And I really dislike that.
Yeah, because
it's fine. It probably doesn't matter at all. It's just something I really don't like to see because these things add up over time. And you get to the point where it's like, yeah, we made a guy that ignores all healing, except this guy says remove damage, and that's not technically healing. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, and so you end up, the things that are meant to counter these don't work, and so you end up invalidating, and which means that they become kingmakered because things in the game that are caught by the catch-alls actually get stopped, and then the random MacGuffin doesn't.
Right, like it's strange to me to like Daredevil and again I think 2099 where it's like, oh well, they can ignore stealth against everyone who possibly has stealth except for these two people.
Except for the two women
stealth.
in X-Men, and you're like, let me think. There's probably a trend.
She's also bald, so you can play the all bald list with her.
Yeah.
getting a lot of characters in that ball.
She's got
category,
healing
which is pretty
factor for the last good measure.
Yeah, she's just a very interesting collection.
Yeah,
of
she
rules.
used to be able to play exceptional healing. That was fucked.
Still can. Oh no, it's whatever the fuck it's called now.
She can play instant recovery.
Yeah, I don't have that card because they haven't technically let me. It's not even on a print to play or anything, is it?
It is. It
The
was
new
when
card,
they did.
you can
Yeah.
print to play.
Oh,
it.
can you?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a paper version.
Okay, I mean,
It'll
I
be
got
in that
into a
new
game-
X-Men starter box for sure.
I got into a game against Aaron where I had Magneto and Sabretooth on Researcher, and he had Cassandra Nova, and I couldn't win the game. It was like
Nice.
mathematically impossible for me to win the game. I was like, this is dumb.
Oh.
Because like he would just walk me away,
yeah.
and it was like, and then walk away himself. And I'm just like, how do I can't get to you?
So the reason
Because
you're
like
just stand there.
my Sabretooth had 1 hit point,
Yeah.
and so it was like and the game, it was turn 6, so the game was about to end. It's like, so if I move into range to attack you, all my attacks are range 3. You just kill me. And I think Magneto was also in like 2. I was like, this is really bad because I'll just walk in and die with both
You
of my
can't
characters.
throw at her. Yeah.
And so I positioned just fucking barely out of range 3. Like we put the tool down, I walked right up to it, backed up by a micron, and I was like, all right, pounce. and so I pounced on him, which he ignores. And I was like, okay, but I made him spend the power though. And so then Magneto walked in and I don't know, what was it? Magneto then threw things at her until she ran out of power, because long is also longer than 3. And so I killed him with collisions because he had 6 power.
Oh, gross.
Nice.
And so he ran out of power. It was like, size 4. Like,
Finally.
yeah, it was really annoying. Okay. So the models I threw together were Cassandra Nova, which again I doubt she'd ever make a list with him. Voodoo is very interesting. Namor, although Namor's kind of more fighty, but he's also fast and he can play scenario. And then Rhino, Spider-Man, Apex, Venom, Black Panther. I think Black Panther will also be really good in there.
These are the
Since there's
elite scenario pieces.
Yeah. And since 2 of them are Avengers, you could very easily slide in Steve 1. There's a lot of options there. You could theoretically do Hulkbuster, which is, again, I don't think would be good, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever realized until us talking about this that Juggernaut can safe grab with Steve 1. Just because it's never something I would have considered. Like having
Because you
him
can
there.
just do it
It's like,
with
oh,
so
well,
many
DR
people
only
that-
gets DR already costs 1, so it's only making
Like,
the
here, let me
slide
pull up the list
cheaper.
of Steve 1 safe grabbers, and it's like the game shows up.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
It just clicked for me like 10 minutes ago where I was like, oh.
Did they
yeah,
even think
I guess
about
he can do that.
how good this person is under Steve 1 before they released him? Come on.
Yeah.
What if Juggernaut, or what if Lockjaw ports him up at the start of the game? Like, did they even think about that?
And then because you're not activating, somebody steals that one, and you're like, fuck!
Ah!
He took my shit!
That's not how this is supposed to work.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, it's Professor X, theoretically Cyclops, Steve 1, Magneto, Mystique,
Red Skull 2.
Black Bolt, Red Skull 2, 7 leaders at least, technically A-Force with She-Hulk. Is that it? There's at least 8 leaders in the game that let him turn 1 safe grab.
Oh, safe grab turn 1. Yeah.
I think that's right, because those are all the ones that are like power manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One way or another.
Turn 1, yes. I can't think of any other ones, so that's probably correct.
Yeah.
Blade, I guess, sort of. Because you can move, grab, bump, but it's like
Just
it's
don't
whether or not
slide,
you
bump
consider
instead.
that safe. Yeah. If you move, yeah.
I would say bumping back on a large is pretty safe.
Yeah, that's a significant amount of
Yeah, so that's 9. 3 of them are in the same faction. Or sorry, 2 of the sets are in the same faction. 7 of the 30 affiliations allow you to turn 1 safe grab, which is a pretty big chunk when you think about it.
Yeah, especially since the...
Just don't play trash affiliations like Asgard or Spider Foes or Wakanda.
He just definitely doesn't.
I'm just
care,
naming
because,
all
like
the
we
stuff
said,
you
because
guys play.
he's making 1 attack. He doesn't really care too much about the
Dark Dimension
reroll shit. Yeah, Dark Dimension
9.
Oh,
And we're back up to 8.
Dude, just wait till I drop Dormammu's Juggernaut on someone. They have no idea what's going on.
you said Mystique because he could turn 1.
I did.
Okay, just make,
Yeah.
That's the
That's
famous one.
That's one of the best.
8
ones, yeah.
affiliations, 10 leaders so far.
There's no one else I can think of. I'm just going through the leadership list now.
Oh, there's any other power.
Did we? Elsa was released this year as a leader.
Yes.
There's
Elsa, Maximus, Medusa.
Oh, Maximus Medusa. Do you count Medusa? People playing that?
If you want to play King Black Bolt, I think that's what you do. But
If you literally named any other character in Inhumans, I'd be playing it right now. I just hate Medusa so much.
I think we've waxed poetic about Medusa. I'm coming into your camp, Brandon. I think Medusa's.
I just don't see a world in which putting a 4-pointer that has a 3-pointer stat line into the middle of the table makes sense.
And it being your leader.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's like, I if you told me she was 3 points and slightly worse, I'd be in. But as a 4-pointer, it's like, she doesn't compare with other 4-pointers.
No.
Yeah.
I guess
like,
technically one is a weird leader is Malekith. I was thinking about his, like, her leadership. And
yeah,
then,
but
you it's so many
cannot
hoops. Yeah.
plan on. Yeah,
no,
you cannot plan on days.
I'm gonna move and kill someone so that Juggernaut can grab the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're better off with a kill plan at that point.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the turn 1 claw play with Sandman?
Oh, yeah. Sandman, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure. It just that came up while we were talking about stupid shit. Jeremy was so annoyed. He's like, I did not know this was a thing.
Huh.
And his opponent just has claw in the middle of the table.
Oh, that's one of the most. Yeah, that's right. Jeremy
is really funny.
I think
it was like a Adepticon last year or something. It was
he,
something.
He's
it was
like, he just like calls Judge like, I don't know what he's doing, but that can't be legal.
Yeah, because Jeremy would be like, "You did what now?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Sandman can do that.
That doesn't sound right.
Let me look at that. What's this do?
That's some bullshit right there.
Mm-hmm. That's another character I know that is bad, but I wish was better with Sandman.
I don't think Sandman's bad. I don't know that he's a great 4-pointer, but I don't think he's bad.
I don't think, like, if as soon as the times I've gotten him to work have all been against people who were just not prepared to fight him. He's
sure
like he's one of those characters where like if you look at him and you know what he's doing, it's just easy to kind of like get around him.
I think the plan is just don't. Like, he's one of those characters that's invalidated when you just don't attack him. Like, just leave him alone and he doesn't do anything. And you're like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but like that kind of needs to be the case. Like, he is a crazy good spender for a 4-pointer.
Oh, I've done so many insane things with that spender where I'm just like
12 dice attacks.
Well,
he's
4 dice, 12 dice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He still gets to attack with his normal action, too. Like, that's a lot of potential damage coming out.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that the constructs are, like, immune to collisions is super undersold.
Oh, yeah.
You can do a lot of janky shit with that.
Yeah, I know there's a guy that plays in there across the Bifrost. Or not, yeah, with them. I can't remember what his name is. But apparently he's been using a lot. He plays a bunch of Spider Foes, and he basically, like, always brings... Sandman would be one of those, like... I think he's actually a really good scenario piece. Because, like, if you look at his kit, it's like, oh, it's always about moving people off. It's about... He's got tons of displacement. I think that the sand constructs also displace. Yeah.
I think
they can also
push,
damage. And then he can jump off of them, too. So it's like he's kind of all over the board.
Yeah, it's just like...
He requires a lot of knowledge to play well. But again, like you said, it doesn't require a lot of knowledge to bring that back down. Because you only have to know what it's possible he can do, and you can really negate some of his upper play. But he's still got some stuff. Like there's not nothing there. Like he's got game.
But that's not the character I look at because mine's painted up really well, and I don't bring him enough.
Yeah. Now, see, this is the model that there's no way you guys would have ever guessed. I would suggest you put in a list with Juggernaut.
All right, can we guess first and then see if we get it right?
Yes, please.
I don't
each
know,
of you get a guess.
Hold on.
We have not mentioned this character's name tonight.
Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos.
Is a good guess wrong.
Oh, okay.
Someone who pairs well with Juggernaut? Is that the quiz?
Yeah.
No. That's not what I said. I said I'm going to suggest that we play him with Juggernaut.
Suggest we play him with Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I have no idea.
Can I steal Zach's guess for my second guess?
Ursa
Sure.
Major.
Mordo?
No.
Okay.
These are actually pretty good guesses. Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister? Oh.
Mr. Nathan Essex.
Oh.
So hear me out. He's medium, which is not a lot to write home about anymore.
With flight.
6 health on the front is okay. 3/4 is a little non-impressive for a 4-pointer. He can spend any number of genetic tokens to reduce damage. So he can reduce damage to 0 for each. Expend up to 3. Normally the whole thing is you're trying to get all these tokens. I'm not. Like, if he gets tokens for standing on points and attacking, cool. He has an interesting strike, range 3, 5 dice energy builder. But the thing we're bringing him for is he has bow. He has, what's it called?
Such fun little
genetic
playthings.
negation. No, wait, that's a different one.
Yeah, it's
Here we go.
such fun little
Such
playthings.
fun little playthings. It's cost 2 bow, any size. So if you just have a bow on a 4-point chassis that potentially has damage reduction. And so all you need to do is build up enough power with your strikes that you can guarantee do that every turn. Not hard. Also, if you get extra power to start doing genetic splicings, where you start beaming 4 and gaining even more genetic tokens, you just get enough to where you can stop 3 damage. He basically has 9 hit points. And you're just like, yeah, you're not really going to one-round me with 9 hit points. It's pretty hard.
That's very true.
And then I just walk you off. Not to mention, he can just like point and click root people. If you're like, well, I'm going to attack again. I'm going to beam 3 people, so I'm going to get 3 more tokens. You're like, you're rooted. Beam the 3 again. And you're like, okay. Because the whole point, you're not trying to kill anybody. You're just trying to take a point.
Yeah, and plant yourself into that point.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at his spender. His spender isn't terrible, but if he gets a bunch of tokens, it's AoE 3, which is a big fucking AoE.
Yeah.
But you're never going to spend 6 power on it. It's just a joke.
Yeah, he's got an old spender. He supposedly is on the slate for next year, along with Cassandra Nova. So
I think it could be later this year, but yeah, they just said they're like about to finish.
All they have to do make him physical 4, and either make his genetic splicing cost 0, or give him 2 power turn. Either one, he's fine.
Yeah, those would be completely fair.
Yeah, 4 physical defense is not going to upset anybody.
No.
The either 0 cost spender or give him 2 power turn, I think is fine.
Yeah, because So I like that. Okay.
And they'll probably end up doing more than that, but I think that's all they need to do.
I wouldn't hate that. I love Mr. Sinister. I think he's such a neat little guy.
Yeah, so in here, he's basically just defending your back point as a 4-pointer. It's like, I have bow. There's nothing you can do to stay on this point unless you have a helmet. All I have to worry about is you having that ability. And then I'm just going to stand here and just stay alive and save power.
Yeah.
And then Juggernaut can go out and do his thing. And they kind of play that similar role. I thought that he was a Brotherhood model. I really did, but I just checked and he's not.
No. So there's nothing really you could do to play them together.
Yeah, they don't share any affiliations, so we're back to square one on affiliations.
But so Cabal, Hellfire Club, and unfortunately Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
The Cabal thing we talked about already, which I don't think is...
Hellfire would be interesting as a leadership.
Yeah.
Because obviously you throw in Emma. Emma's kind of in the same vein. She's kind of a controlling 4-pointer. But she has a really good leadership that we've already talked about before. That technically brings us to 9, because if you're on a D, she can turn 1 leadership before he activates. Now, at that point, you probably will have already grabbed all the tokens, so it's not super relevant, but technically we're at 9.
So what's the main question for this is, what does that 17 look like? So you get 8.
Yeah, you need 1 more affiliated. I don't know who's affiliated with Hellfire Club. I'm checking right now.
Don't shit on Sunspot. Also,
Cassandra Nova?
Mr. Sinister
Cassandra Nova?
Sinister's affiliated.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah.
Because we're at Emma, Mr.
about.
Sinister. That's 8. We throw in Jugs, that's 13. So we need another 4-point affiliated.
So you have Lady Mastermind, Sunspot, Omega Red,
Psylocke.
Omega Red could be interesting as well. Like DR, can he pull infinite people? Is it exactly like Venom's?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
exactly
you can only be pushed once, so he can ensnare multiple times.
Omega Red? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
I actually had him on my list of models originally, because he's basically just Venom with damage reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually tougher Venom that has worse attacks.
So that like I said, after Wakanda, when I'm going to do a Hellfire Brotherhood, and like part of the Hellfire part is using Juggernaut, like not necessarily to safe grab, but like he's just if he's even harder to kill because he's healing every round, like you're never getting shit off of Juggernaut.
You put down Emma, Mr. Sinister, Omega Red, Juggernaut. Your opponent will take pity on you. You'll win many games. But the thing is, I don't actually know that you lose. Like,
No, I think that's a pretty beefy list. You beat
unless your opponent
effectively
has like
3
steals
DR
out the
models.
ass.
Well, that's
Yeah.
so it's crazy because I think
3 DR
Juggernaut
models, a ton of displacement.
hard carries this kind of list because it's like what's the weakness here? Well, you need a big, strong bruiser to go out there and start messing stuff up while
to start doing
while your
everything
edge
for you.
case guys start kind of holding it down. I don't hate that
Yeah.
because like
It'd be interesting to try because it's gonna. I think it would do really well against the scenario teams because they would just get bullied by. It's kind of like Josh's plan right now. He's like, I'm just gonna bully the controllers by having stronger controllers.
yeah.
It's kind of that same. It's like you're not gonna kill me. Like none of your web warriors threaten these models, especially not in the time frame that we're talking about. And then it's like, are you gonna come to the middle and just take all this auto? Like Juggernaut's amazing versus webs. Because you're just like, I'll just auto damage 3 of them every turn, and then I start killing them.
Yeah.
Because you're taking these big 8 dice attacks when you're average blocking 2. All of a sudden, you're dying.
Well, and Emma is, I think, a pretty strong webs.
Mystic, yeah, Mystic's a good tool against them.
She can stop people from getting moved, and
she stops the reactions
and collisions.
And you get the Mystique combo of I'll activate Emma, air quotes. Here comes, do you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly.
Just drop a truck on their head.
Well, now,
like, oops,
now
surprise.
you also have Lady Mastermind as a third one too, where you're like, all right.
But
so...
specifically, the list has one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, or it's just like I'm gonna activate Emma and then throw Long with ignoring your Indomitable. I'm just gonna throw Miles right in front of Emma, and she's just gonna kill him.
Zach does make a good point. You could run 3 people who do not allow reactive tactic cards on your turn.
They're all Hellfire Club.
You wouldn't want all 3 of them.
No,
you
like,
one.
They're all Hellfire.
That's silly. Yeah, that's funny. That's like the Hellfire Club rule now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I don't. Okay, well, I know what I'm bringing tomorrow then.
Is this what you're gonna throw this together?
Yeah,
Hellfire Club, with Mr. Sinister.
We'll wrap up, and I'll go down there and build it real quick.
Okay. So yeah, you want Omega Red. I can't believe Omega Red's in there. Omega Red and Mr. Sinister, the Hellfire Club guys.
Of course.
What the fuck is happening?
You don't remember that comic?
Hey, listen, I personally am all for this Hellfire Club change. So,
do you have any idea how far you could move a model? Do you know who I am? Into fucking Cable Snare, into Bow, into Emma's Double Walk.
Or even then, into Emma's hands off, then walk.
Yeah. That's so far. You could literally go corner to corner. That would be hilarious.
It'd be a shame if your character was in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Emma,
Did you
Juggernaut
mix
could
up
throw
deployment
long,
zones?
And Emma could walk them twice. Like she's like, oh, you're max 4. I'm going to walk you sideways so that you're still within max 4. And I'm going to walk you again. All right, see you later.
Because you're rarely going to have prio with a 4-model list. It would be so interesting. Like, the first one of your opponent models that activate with an extract token, you're immediately like, Juggy, go get him. And you're like, he's like, Jug's going to stand next to you, right? And he's going to bump you. You're going to take 1. You can't really respond to it. And then it's like, all right, cool. M activates next. And you just suplex the model across the table. And they just get dogpiled by your other 3 models. And he's like, what? And he's just like, all right, that's mine. Your turn.
Okay, so.
And then Emma's just healing Jugs every round. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I actually like this list.
I think that. Well, like I said, Juggernaut's my new muse. So
you can try it because I never have been able to. Is I still want to venomize him just once and see how it goes.
Cassandra Nova is in Hellfire Club as well.
Clicked.
Hellfire Club
has
has
second
a
5.
weird, yeah.
It's basically
Lady
like
Mastermind.
evil mutants.
Magneto is? You could do dual affiliation, just have the Brotherhood
that's
package
what I
in the
told you.
list.
That's what I have.
That's Zach's.
When
the
I've
new
got
box
triple.
comes
I've got
out.
all three. I've got all 3 leaders in there because I think they all actually have a reason to be used.
What do you mean by all? Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Mystique,
all of them.
Mystique, Emma, and
Perfect overlap.
Magneto. Yeah, it's really easy. Like you have like 4
I just
models
wish you
that
had
are
a 2-pointer. That's the only downside. Is I just wish you had a 2.
A 2 would help out a whole lot, but
it would, knowing that you're bringing a 4-point leader and a 5-point character.
Yeah,
but higher threats you can just still throw Toad. He's still very happy
Toad just
to be
slots
there.
in there, right?
I just don't think you can justify Shadow King at all. He's just not good.
Is he also
I know.
Hellfire Club?
Yeah,
He is, dude. Everyone's in fucking Hellfire Club. All the bad guy mutants.
Both
Everyone
Angels
that
are-
doesn't, everyone that's not played but is a mutant is in Hellfire
Such
Club.
famous Hellfire Club characters as Omega Red and Mystique
And Shadow King.
and Shadow King.
Yeah.
Shadow King might be. I don't know.
No.
I don't
Angel was never in the Hellfire Club.
Well,
No, Angel's like family was or something.
Yeah,
like that.
because he Angel gets in for the stupid, like, I'm rich, I'm in the Hellfire Club role, but it's the same.
Mhm.
But if that's the reason, then Kingpin and Tony Stark need to be in there too.
Yeah. Psylocke. I don't think Psylocke was.
I don't trust either.
Probably not. I wouldn't think so. Okay, so
Sunspot's, I think, in there for that too. It's like his family's loaded. He's a mutant. Congrats.
he took it over
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
So I've
All
got.
right, let's go ahead and wrap this up because we're already way over on time. Cool. We can also, if you just bring all your stuff tomorrow, we can just chat about it at the shop.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Cool. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you had fun. This has been Brandon.
And Zach.
And CJ.
And you've just listened to Alien Ship.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down Infamous.